Hey, what do you say, guys? Welcome back to my. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, what do you say, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Tony, and this is Dirt Driven Life. And today, I'm going to adjust the knives on the grater, and if I get going pretty good with it here, hopefully I'll do a good cleaning on it as well. So I figured while I was doing this, wanted to talk about the business itself again and use my background back when I was managing where you collect data, statistics, and where you push those things together to for growth and to show errors in the company if you're improving, if you're not. So there won't be no bar graphs in this video, but I've been having a question on my mind, and it was due to a couple, actually one that kind of related on my channel that somebody commented in. The other one was on a group that I'm attached to in the Facebook groups, and that comment itself did make me start questioning a few things, and I wanted to see if I can find answers for it. So that's what I'm going to try to talk about today. Just remember, it's just a discussion, so I'm going to try to hopefully lead this into conversations that even you'll consider and think about as well. So let's get going on this. I'm gonna switch to my sweat headband and sunglasses, get a little bit more comfortable, put you on first person view here, and start getting this going. I'm tired. All right. Did I mention I want to create a yard over there? People see a camera on your head, they stare around here. All right, where you at? Where are you at? There you are, you're right in front of me. Okay. At one point, there used to be a car in here. And just like every building around, it turns into storage. No. This is a sign of a solo operator running his own business. Well, we work, what, 6 days a week, easy, maybe 7. I did that one year. Gosh, when I had all those, one clients, I was doing the estate, taking care of estates kind of thing, and man, I was working 7 days a week. So therefore, you don't get to stay up on your stuff like you like I used to. And you know what? That's okay. I try not to let anything get out of hand, but I don't remember that. Ain't that wild? I don't remember that. I don't know where that come from. I guess I bought it. But yeah, I mean, I even got, I don't know if you can see that, the fountain right there. I got a huge fountain back there. Plans were to put up around here, and just haven't been able to do it. So let's go ahead and discuss about kind of what's on my mind, and that what was on my mind, I should say. And solo operators, excavation, and this is just excavation itself. Now remember, excavation can cover, as a broad word, it covers a lot of services underneath. There'd be guys arguing that if I'm actually even an excavator when they compare what they offer. So, but anyway, insurance purposes, things like that, advertising, things like that, to put you in a category that you got to use excavation a lot of times. Sometimes contractors, sometimes that word is used. No, I better not lock that yet. So the question is how large are we, guys? I mean, really, how many of us is out there compared to the large outfits? I don't even know if you even thought of that. And the more I dug into it, it got kind of interesting, because it kind of could have been a conversation with those that made comments about small solo operators like they do. You know what I mean? You got the guys that just want to see you fail, and they're out there. That's what they do. Now, so you got the guys that we all can identify that want to see you fail, and that was my last wording on that. And you got the well, let's talk about the ones that are right with us, those solo operators that want to crack on you when they find out what you're doing. And we know that they're cracking because they're usually seeing they usually see you're doing something they wish they were doing. You own something that they wish they owned. And that right there is enough for them to crack on you and tell you you're going to fail. Then you've got the bigger outfits, say those that are maybe 5+ employees. And then what they'll do is they'll try to intimidate you, which is hilarious. It really is. It's really hilarious. And say, you're going to fail because you're nowhere near the size of equipment that they have. And because of the size of equipment, right? You've all heard that. The size of the equipment you got, yeah, you ain't gonna make it. I recently had I've even had a recent comment, but I've even had more about the 1-ton using the single rear wheel F350 and versus a dually, right? And oh yeah, you haul that around, oh you're gonna work, well yeah, you are, but you're going to if you drive like an idiot, haul like an idiot, you're gonna tear shit up. And I bought this in 2015. It's paid for. I bought it brand new, and all I've done is baby it, because at the time this was going to be the last truck I wanted to buy. It's kind of why I went after diesel, not even knowing I was going into this stuff. So it works. I'm staying in within my weights, the trailer of the truck, and I don't take off like there's nothing hooked on the back either. I don't do that. Trying to save the transmission, right? But I get there. You get guys that, I just chuckle at them. I'm going down the street and they just can't wait to pass me up. And they are just, you could just hear those. You can just hear everything just grunting and whining as they go by. When they take off from a stoplight and shit. And so it's funny. It's funny. So you got people that do that to you. Then you got the bigger outfits that will not. Their employees will pop in, is what they do. So they work for those bigger outfits, and then they'll pop in, see what you're doing as your own business owner, your own operator, and then they make their comments as well. So here's what this is what. Well, let me get this. This is not going to be fun. Let me get this first. Well, I made it back here. Look how big that sucker is. It's going to be a big one. There's my car days. 350. No, that's a 460 block. It's a rebuilt 429. and a rebuilt 351 Windsor. That's that one's the 70 or the 69 Windsor, 70 Windsor model of the year. This one is a 70, I believe. I have double. I unwrapped these in 10 years. 289 FMX. That's my original transmission out of my Trino. That's been rebuilt. It's got the classic seal leaking around the gear shift linkage like they all do on the FMX transmissions here. Which one are you? How about I use you? They're all the same here. I used to park the Trino in here because it doesn't really sweat in here during those temperature changes like my other garage because of the concrete floor and it's not insulated. Many times I thought about getting it done, but I'm thinking, man, the money in that's almost a down payment to get a nice pole barn built. But the way I want a pole barn done, I'll probably have, well, that was back then, I'll probably have $100,000 in that sucker. Had a guy give me that just a couple days ago. That thing's nice. It's actually all wood. Oh. I mean, look at this thing. It's all wood, but she's 3/4 inch all the way around, and she's pretty solid. So it'll be perfect in here versus the other garage. So back to what I'm talking about is I wanted to try to figure out how large are we, and I'm talking about us that are solo operators. And so I wanted to find out the large outfits, you know, the mega sizes, how many of them are in the United States compared to how many of us solo operators are in the United States, which meant I wanted it broke down in percentage. And I used crack. Don't you hate it? This is what wears you out, man. Making the distances back and forth when you forget something. But what's the percentage between us? You know, because I was just curious to see how many solo operators is possibly out there. And yeah, the light's still on. And I used AI on something like this, and I must say this, especially I want to talk about the AI system as well. That guys, you starting out, if you're not using some AI, which I go between Chat GPT or Gemini right now. That's kind of who I kind of go back and forth with. Sometimes they get dumb on the weekends, I think. I really do. I think they get dumb on the weekends. But if you're not using it, man, you guys need to consider using it. I know a few people that don't like technology like that digital technology, or they're intimidated. They don't like computers, and well, I mean, they're using their smartphone. I'm like, well, if you can get on Facebook, you can get on a friggin' AI system. An AI system. And you guys are not using one, it's like having a hired consultant. I mean, you got these big outfits that hire all these positions to make them successful, right? And you know, you can name them all off to foreman, managing, clerical work, legal, you know, things like that. And AI is close enough to not hiring a professional that it can get you going on decisions, even to the point where you're like, hey, I do need to hire somebody professional in this area. So if you're not using AI, yeah, you really should consider doing it. I think that is going to be one of the keys where, well, I guess a spoiler, I guess, would be, yeah, see what I'm saying? The last 4 years, I got to do a major cleanup here. Where's my brass? I need the brass. Yeah, there's the brass. There's the brass, right? That's the brass. And where's the, okay, just a little shot, You should know it. It's not AI is not a secret. You know, 100% of you guys should be using AI. You really should. Like I said, it's like you got a whole board. You're like a mega company with a board in front of you that is giving you advice. When you're asking somebody, hey, I want to know this. Can you go find this out? Which can take a day or two, you know, then to get back all this information to you. The AI system pops it up pretty damn quick, right? So that's what I'm saying. It should be used in your business. It should be used because you're by yourself. You're doing everything by yourself. Everything, right? I mean, that sinks in, right? I mean, you're doing everything. I mean, you're every position soloing it. Okay, so let's get to what it said. So the feedback I got is, you know, the giant companies with hundreds of machines in their buildings, they're the smallest part of the population in the States. So the number of big outfits versus the small businesses, according to the U.S. Census and the IBIS World Data of 2024-2025, small businesses is 99%, roughly 99.9% of all construction and excavation firms are classified as small businesses, fewer than 500 employees. So I'll break this down more because I think that was just a generic answer. The micro outfits, even more surprising, about 68% of these companies have fewer than 5 employees. So we're looking at the overall small business at 99.9% of the United States that are fewer than 500 employees. The micro size of those of that 99.9 is roughly 68%. These are companies that have fewer than 5 employees. The giants only are about 0.1% are the massive multi-state big outfits. So the new guy versus the established pro, basically the guys the old timers as we call them. The new starts in 1 to 2 years is about 15% to 20% in excavation. And then the failure rate to be expected, they say, is why the new starts they stay high is because in the first year it's considered a 25% fail rate in the first year in the construction business. So that would include our excavation side. But the number of new people trying to start remains high because, like it says it's a low barrier to enter. The low barrier entry is you can start with one machine and a truck. The boomer exit, as older owners of established 30-plus year companies are retiring, I know of one out in a small town this way. He's been wanting to sell for the last 3 years. He's just waiting for the right price. So the vacuum's being filled by us, with us coming in and trying to fill that void. So it looked at it as the new versus the trying, or it's looking at established excavations versus new or startups is about 80% established and 20% new. On that question that I asked it. So I asked it to bring it down towards the solo operator. And then this question on the AI fired it up, because it said that's a great question, because that gets to the heart of YouTube. And I bet you already a few of you light bulb just went on, because it did me when it said that. Where are you at? Why are you being so complicated? Why did it look so well when I hung it up organized? So this gets into like, okay, so you got AI you use, and then why you should look into starting a YouTube channel as well, because it's leading into the fact that that's who we are. The solo operators are in YouTube, and that's where you get the ones that want to see you fail, because you're using these services into somebody that's possibly not, or moving on. But when you're looking at how much solo operating is in that, how smart a question that was, it gets to the heart of the YouTube channel itself. So the YouTube channels like mine and many others are out there actually has a massive built-in audience. The numbers don't just favor the solo operator. They prove that solo and micro businesses are the overwhelming majority of the industry. If people think a channel for solo operators is a waste, they are likely looking at the dollars, which is big outfits, dominated outfits, instead of the people, which is us, right, that are dominating. So we physically are outnumbering them doing this. So the solo versus the giant breakdown in 2025, 2026 data. Based on current U.S. Census, non-employer statistics, and industry outlooks, here's the percentage. Solo operators, non-employers, 78%. There is 78% one man and a machine outfits out here in the United States. And then the construction excavation sector. That means there are roughly 2.8 million of us businesses, solo operator businesses. There's almost 3 million of us. Small micro outfits are 1 to 4 employees. Okay, so not solo, the smaller micro ones are considered, as they got counted, they're considered 1 to 4 employees, which is 15% across the United States. These are guys who maybe started solo and then hired, brought in a family member or something like that. Well, it looks like they're killing the grass so they can plant. So, yeah, I know it's a style and it's what they do. So the micros, the 1 to 4 employees, I already did that. Established mid-sized companies, 5 employees to 50 employees, is 6.9%. That's the local big names in your towns around you. That's the big outfits. 6.9% in the United States is what it's claiming, according to the census. And then the big outfits, the 100 plus employees, the massive corporations with like 50 excavators and corporate offices and everything, 0.1% across the United States. So if you was to put this in percentage, of who is actually trying to do this, the numbers are staggering, it says. The startup surge in 2024 and 2025, new businesses applications hit records high, over 5 million per year. A huge chunk of these are solo founders. So you've heard those comments on the bottom, right? You've on not just my channel, but others, that you got to start somewhere, right? And that's who they are. The silent majority, for every one big excavation company that might not care for YouTube videos on solo operators or from solo operators, there are 700 to 800 solo guys who are currently in their trucks worried about a hydraulic leak or how to bid their next job. The education gap. Big outfits have high-paid consultants, mechanics, solo operators have YouTube and AI. You are effectively providing the corporate training that the other 78% of the industry doesn't have access to. Basically what it's saying, that was referring to me. And so the size that we are, 78% of us out there, it's what you should be doing. YouTube and AI. I mean, can you see the path, what I'm trying to say here? Because it is, in COVID, we had to stay home, right? And what did we do? We watched YouTube, because there ain't one damn movie they're making good anymore. The hero series has kind of burned its way out. Reality series shows start off good, but then they get pre-scripted, so they start turning fake. You know, the problems on there are fake most of the time, right? I mean, it's not everything. I mean, they do catch some stuff, but to keep the show interesting, they got to put in problems, you know, or confrontations between people that really wasn't even there, you know, that kind of crap. You know, so TV's dying and stuff. Working for big companies, right? Everybody's getting tired of that. I mean, it's not just us, but it's even the younger generation. That's why we're not really getting hires in. When I was in that industry, they were interested in not working 40 hours a week. They wasn't like us growing up. You know, we knew our overtime pay when we was making our paycheck. It was when we was putting in overtime. So, you know, they just wasn't interested in the overtime. They wanted a life. And then I made fun of them. I'm like, you ain't gonna make it. Look at you, wanting less than 40 hours a week and being okay with it. You're not gonna make it in life. Obviously I was jealous or envy, because you know, we wasn't thinking like that growing up. So I'm gonna say it again, that, you know, call me a weirdy or what, but yeah, call me goofy or what, but you know, you if you're starting out and you need guidance, you know, you need office guidance, you need that legal advice, insurance questions, business labeling, business ideas, names, how to promote yourself, how to do this and do that for your company, and then learning it, you're coming to YouTube. And then you've got reality in YouTube. That is, the majority of our channels are almost 100% true. You know, there's a few that you can tell they do a few things that, you know, when you start noticing I'm on a new job, but you're starting to say, you know what, that's the same property you was on last video. Right? So like me, I'm gonna do some work around this. I will always tell you, I'm on my property, I'm not gonna go I'm not gonna go back in them woods and say I'm on a new job today and I gotta clear this or clean this ditch. No, I'll let you know. Especially as many times I've been wanting some gravel, a gravel yard right there. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Hey, I'm on a new job today. This customer is wanting some gravel. Man, ain't that your bathtub and your sink that's been there all that year? So, kind of interesting, ain't it? It is for me. And so to help you succeed, man, you should be looking at those tools. You're basically solo operator. Let's say you got your truck and you're renting. AI is your board. It's your company with all your CEOs and your lawyer, your advertiser. You know, all that. That's what AI is. And then, you know, how do you operate this attachment, or what's the best attachment for a job like this, or you know, this machine, how do you change how do you service it, things like that. I mean, that's all on YouTube. And then you've got a camaraderie of like-minded guys and gals coming together as well on YouTube. And I vote that these channels, especially these solar operators, especially us, you know, we should collaborate. We should be watching one another's videos and commenting and encouraging and asking questions. And there's no reason to even build off of each other's ideas, to elaborate more on something that one has brought up and tried to discuss, and then you pick it up and you're like, I want to continue that conversation more, because, right, I mean, you can't talk everything about it at once. You know, these things could be busted up with a year's worth of videos of material. So that's where I'm at with doing things like that with the YouTube channel itself. That's kind of why I'm here. Other than that, it's kind of silly putting yourself out there, right? So I'm really here to learn and to hopefully people learn from me, from the mistakes I make, from attachments falling off because I forgot to double check my friggin' hydraulic latch, and, you know, loading it right, or just anything they see, they're like, man, you know, I mean, even down to the hitch. You know, I've had that hitch 4 years, so but I know I need to upgrade and do something better with that hitch. And I also know I kind of want the one that shows the load on there too. You know, that'd be pretty easy. But and then also the little tools and things and the little get up, like that friggin' emergency hydraulic jack. I saw it on a YouTube channel, and it was it's the guy that operates out of California, and he used to do a lot of mulching jobs, and he started another side channel to do trucks, his Dodge trucks and stuff. But anyway, I ordered it, and you know, showed it in operation, and man, yeah. So it's little stuff like that I'm talking about. So back to those statistics on that. Where we left off. So when we left off, it said the education gap. Big outfits have high-paid consultants and mechanics. Solo operators have YouTube and AI. You're effectively providing the corporate training that the other 78% of the industry doesn't have. The 78% is us. And that where it comes back to where you all should be collectively looking into that stuff. There should be, if anything, as many people are watching this, and the views, I mean, at least 500 of you looking up the AI system and really get into some of the YouTube stuff. So what am I doing here right now is what the other solo guys are doing as well. Digging Life 18, Ron there at Vilo, his channel, TriStar Dig-In, uh, guys like that that have gotten up there or even moving up there. So the niche is, so focus on a solo journey. You aren't talking to a small group. You're talking to this is in your YouTube industry. You're talking to the largest segment of the industry by head count. The big outfits might move more dirt by volume, but they represent a tiny fraction of the owners and operators. YouTube channels or solo YouTube channels is for the 78% who are out there doing it alone. So then 3 million of us out there just about. So my next question was, is there enough work for us? Is this why we compete so strongly against each other's pricing? But fair question. Fair question is what it said. And so the short answer is yes, because the 78% of the industry, the solo operators, is chasing a different type of work than the big outfits. The giants, they fight over billion-dollar highway and data center projects. They physically cannot and will not compete for the millions of smaller residential and service-based jobs that make up the backbone of the country. Here's the numbers of 2026 breakdown for the solo operator. So he names it off as the invisible market, which is the residential maintenance and small jobs. Big outfits, they just can't afford the massive cost to move their big equipment to do these smaller jobs. They don't pay big enough. So that's common sense right there. A 100-foot driveway, right? So the volume, there are over 85 million single-family homes in the United States. The solo advantage is almost every one of those homes eventually needs a grading or a new septic line, a pad or a shed, or erosion control. This is the bread and butter. This is the marketplace. This is almost 100% owned by solo micro operators. The current 2026 labor gap he popped in here was interesting. Even though with 2.8 million small businesses, the industry is still screaming for more help. The shortfall, which we've been hearing for some years now, in 2026, the construction industry reports a shortage of roughly 350,000 to 500,000 workers. And then there's the retirement cliff. About 40% of the current workforce is expected to retire by 2030, as the old guard with the 30-year companies retirees, they aren't being replaced by new big corporations. They are being replaced by guys like us, the solo starters. So the math, is there enough work? If you take those 2.8 million solo operators and spread them across the United States residential market, there's roughly one solo operator for every 30 single family homes that need work annually. When you add in new residential construction, which is projected to grow by 5% in 2026, the demand of site prep for new homes is actually outpacing the number of people entering the trade, it says. So a channel like this is not a waste if I'm trying to use it right. Because the truth is the big guys, they don't want the small dirt jobs, right? They can't make a profit on them. $3,000 grading job or something like that. That kind of work only belongs to solo workers, pretty much. You make $3,000 and it's only you. That's pretty darn good profit. Should be, right? Let's see what it says here. The skill gap is the biggest threat. Most people can buy a machine, right? Very few know how to run a machine, and a channel that teaches the business side of being solo is rare and high value. Okay, so there you go. That's what I'm saying about YouTube itself being a niche in with AI for solo operators. So this is pretty cool. The 78% of your tribe, you aren't competing with the 0.1%. You're leading the 78% who are trying to figure out how to survive the first 2 years. So the big companies might have the biggest machines, but the solo operators have the most phone calls. There's more residential dirt to move than there are buckets to move it. All right, hope I got gas. Yeah, I still got some gas in there. Let me see if I got gas in the other one. So, you know, that's interesting that in theory, which we all know numbers on paper don't prove nothing in real life sometimes, to make it work, but there should be 30 customers for me and for you and for the next person for solo operation. But you just got to get, where's my gas cans, man? If you're wondering why I'm cutting in and out, I'm just trying to cut out all the walking I'm doing for you guys. I'm trying to hunt down my gas cans. I don't know where I did with them. So, yeah, I had a spill, so I'm cleaning it up. So, where in the hell? So if we've got enough customers, then we just got to be able to become good salesmen. AI helps with that, so does YouTube. And I got it in there. Now it looks like I'm gonna have to use the big one. That's what she said. And then learning it and that stuff as well. You know, driveways really is a good place to start, in my opinion. I intended to do that, but I'm being honest, I actually got more calls because I added in grading last year. I guess it's just a different time. It was a different time, and I was just getting more calls on that, but on actually doing drainage and regrading and stuff. There at the Ohio River, man, them poor folks, man, they had a mess with all that rain last year. But that's one. I mean, and I'll tell you another one that pays high. Another, yeah, that's always fun, ain't it? Don't you like that? Let's see if I can do it the lazy way. Let's see what I can do. Is excavation, or even landscaping, guys. I'm telling you, it's a moneymaker. Be prepared though to, be prepared to hire. I'm telling you, that was pretty much what really sealed the deal on just not continue it. If I couldn't do the look, landscaping, man, the people want it done, and I didn't. I could do that for a customer, but I couldn't do that for 5 customers that week, and that's what I was looking at. And then I hired. So you know that story. But yeah, I just didn't want to. Are you a fool to walk away from that kind of money? Maybe to most, but not to me. I'm totally happy with walking away from that. It's just not what I want to do. It didn't feel like started feeling like a job. But there's money in it, guys. That's definitely something that can get you started in being a solo operator business owner, not just for excavation. I'm talking starting a industry job, construction job, something like that. I mean, you even got remodeling and things like that you can get into. So anyway, ain't it cute? It's your little bitty cute thing. Yeah. But I had a point earlier, and the point was, you know, where you can start. But that's one of them. I'll tell you what, with as many drives as I've done, I wonder if you could just make a living off of driveways. I mean, I already know that I've had to add so many services just to do things on the downtime. But man, that'd be awesome if you could just make a living off of that, just do nothing but driveways. Because I enjoy it. Because I enjoy it. Like I said, I've done more this year already than I've done last year and the year before that. Comparing the number, not together, not combining both years into this one. I'm just saying the start off per year. This year, man, I've topped out what I did all last year, the whole year. That's not the only thing I did, but you know, that's what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say? What am I trying to say? So yeah, I'm like, well, hell, I'm going to keep going with it. I ain't going to turn down driveways at all. But as many as I've had, I'm like, well, shoot. What if I just focused on this, because it's easier on the mind. Now, some of them will find it boring. They need more action in it. I get that. So that's cool. That's okay. Definitely do what you got to do on that. All right, let's do some stuff here. So I don't know. What do you think, guys? I mean, you know, that's just something to think about. You know, there's plenty of work, they say, to go around. I mean, I'm busier this year, and I you know, every year I've been getting busier. I can tell. It's not been huge jumps, but it's allowed me to make a move on this skid steer, jumping up into one of those, you know, permanently. So you know, it's doing. I feel pretty safe on that. No. And you know, you got I think the next thing is just the available resources for you. So if you're really kicking around doing it, You know, you've got some resources there. If you're struggling, in other words, you're doing good. I'm going to say that you're doing good. I mean, it's working and stuff, but you're like I've been, you know, you've got some areas you're struggling. Like I mentioned before in some videos, I've changed the lanes. I call it that, you know, my things, my services that I offer, I look at as them lanes. I'm down this lane, I'm down that lane, and so on. And I've changed some. And not from never getting a, not from, I haven't changed the lane just because I've never gotten any calls for it. I've actually changed them because I've done them. And I'm kind of like, nah, I don't want to do that. You know, so, and even the customers itself, driveway customers are different. If they're just wanting a driveway, they're more upbeat, seems like it. I'm trying my best vocabulary term for this. They're just they all seem upbeat. Even the guys that do want them to look better, just upbeat, man, because they're looking forward to it looking better. Then you got like the drainage issue, things like that. Them poor folks are kind of down and gloomy about it because it's a repair, and they're like, man, I hope this repair works. And also they're ticked because they got to get it repaired. So you know, that's what I mean, the difference between them. So there's always a style between them, that how you approach them. So that's what we're up against. And I tell you, the odds are in our favor. The odds are definitely in our favor. And like I said, you got AI. Let me switch you over here. And you got YouTube. And you end up working for yourself, being it's in a business of whatever type, all the way down to a YouTube influencer. You know, I could see that, and that's only good. That's only good stuff there, right? Man, that baby was torquey. And sorry, you're gonna hear grunting and all that. Like we all don't do that. And if you like doing what you like to do, and you're prospering with the help of things, I mean, that's only good. I mean, shit. You gotta survive in this world. And as long as you can make enough to survive and be satisfied, that's all that matters too. You guys definitely don't dive in real deep on the vanity of things, because there will be a time you don't want to. There's a certain age that you don't want to be still fighting the same things you're trying to fight when you're 20 something. And that's where I was at when I was deciding to leave my career that I was in. And that was, you know, still fighting. I mean, at 50 years old, I was still running around on a job that was taking 20-year-old energy. So well, I'm looking for my shims. I can't find my damn shims. No surprise, you guys, as unorganized as I am in there. But you know, I got to put the shims on here on the distance that I want. So I got to do that. I'm gonna get this loose and find me some, I think 1/4 inch shims is what I'm wanting to use. Start off with that. I don't know, 3/8 maybe. That's what the book recommended. Try this without. And yeah, that's what I need to do. I know I read the book and all that. I gotta get my shims. And I thought for a second there I wouldn't need to, but as heavy as this is, I need to get the shims. The way I read it, you get the way I read it is you get the thickness that you want on how far you want the blades down, and then you just set this on those shims, and then the ground pushes it up to the point where you're wanting the thickness of the depth, and then go from there. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the conversation of that. It was interesting to me. So it was a particular question, and I wanted to see if there was an answer for. And then, well, when I started digging in it, I told you guys what I told you was pretty fast. I spent several hours. There was more things about it, Some of the information was redundant, but it was just more reinforced information, confirming. And that's pretty unique, man. We actually, solo operators dominate the industry. Big companies don't want to fool with the small residential. There's a lot of profit in small residential when it comes to the solo operator. Micro companies will deal with residential, but they're wanting to grow to be in those big corporations. The amount of people that are leaving the industry faster than we can fill it. What's going to happen in 5 more years then? I've already can tell the difference in automobile mechanics around here. Used to be tons of them, and there really isn't. I know there's more than 3, but I know of 3, and now I'm not talking about the dealers. All right, I put my shims underneath the front here, and I'm going 3/8 for right now. I tightened up that center bolt there, and I will tighten him up. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh Lord Jesus. But yeah, you can see the line ain't as far down as the factory line, right where the paint was at over here. And like I said, you put the equal amount of shims under this and under that side, and you rest it down. It's supposedly it's built in this, the way I understand the manual, so you guys can correct me if I have misunderstood the manual, but the crown is kind of built into this, which you got to do more shims on this side to take the crown out. So that means it cuts lower this side, higher on this side, so as I go down the lanes, my crown's always going to be on the right side of the road, of the lane, of the drive. Okay, I can dig it. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the conversation of that. It was interesting to me. So it was a particular question, and I wanted to see if there was an answer for. And then, well, when I started digging in it, I told you guys what I told you was pretty fast. I spent several hours. There was more things about it, Some of the information was redundant, but it was just more reinforced information, confirming. And that's pretty unique, man. We actually, solo operators dominate the industry. Big companies don't want to fool with the small residential. There's a lot of profit in small residential when it comes to the solo operator. Micro companies will deal with residential, but they're wanting to grow to be in those big corporations. The amount of people that are leaving the industry faster than we can fill it. I mean, what's going to happen in 5 more years then? You know, I've already can tell the difference in automobile mechanics around here. Used to be tons of them, and there really isn't. I know of I know there's more than 3, but I know of 3. You know, and now I'm not talking about the dealers. Uh, hopefully this sparks up some stuff for you, and you know, again, comment below. You know, kick it off. Get some juicy stuff out there for us guys, and things that we're thinking of, or even just reinforce what you've done with stuff like this, and where it's brought you. You know, using an AI system, and just the things you've learned off of YouTube, things like that. That's a bummer. That's what they protect that with. I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm gonna end it right here, guys. Appreciate you watching it, if you watched it all the way through, and definitely like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep grabbing the camera when I'm getting out and doing things. It's pretty much, it's all my videos are back to back. I mean, that's just how I'm choosing to do it. I'm just creating a rhythm of videos here on the day-to-day. You know, from what I did a month ago up to here. I mean, it's just, I've got videos in between. So, but you guys enjoy yourselves, and get that business, guys, and I'll be talking to you guys again later.